Hello and welcome to Opening Arguments. This is Vapid Response Wednesday. I'm Thomas. That over there is real-life immigration attorney Matt Cameron. How you doing, Matt?
All right, back from the Virgin Islands, back to 2 feet of snow, feeling good. Back to work.
Yep, he had to go clear the evidence of him being in the files. I think he's done that. Oh man, yeah, we're talking more Epstein, but in a slightly different. Well, yeah, we're not going to go through the files, right? But we are going to go through some of the excuses and takes of people who are in the files, which is, I think, more fun.
And some of my favorite and worst and creepiest responses to having been outed in the files. We've got some real gems here, and a couple of emails we haven't looked at too. But some Fallout stuff. Doing some Fallout.
All right. And of course, joined by producer Lydia Smith. How are you doing?
Hello, pretty good. I was not expecting to have a Unabomber connection as part of our discussions today, but we are going to have a Unabomber connection. So one of the victims we'll be talking about found himself in the Epstein files.
It'd be funny if it was the Unabomber was in the files, like from prison. Like, God, what can't these people do?
I'm pretty sure. I think someone like looked it up and he's like explicitly not in the files anywhere, like not even his name. I could be wrong, but I feel like it was like, all these horrible people. And and it's like, well, Ted Kaczynski's not even in there. So
Unabomber cleared of sex trafficking. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't it take forever to catch him? I might be mixing up my Unabombers. But didn't it take forever to catch him? It'd be funny if he was also gallivanting with
Sacramento, California, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah. His brother turned him in.
He was mailing stuff out of Sacramento.
That's right.
Yeah.
He was like a professor, right? Or something, or some sort of.
He was very well educated. Yeah.
Anyway, every other person in the Epstein files is apparently a professor of some kind. Like a lot of academics, a lot of people in
that's right.
government. I can't wait to go through more of it. Matt, why don't you give us a little more preview before we go to our first break?
Sure. We're going to start off with an amuse douche from one of our favorite douches, Alan Dershowitz. Speaking of law professors.
Really, he's like the inaugural amuse douche.
So.
Like it should be renamed the Alan Dershowitz Award for amuse douche.
Yeah, our
the
guide
esteemed
to
Alan Dershowitz amuse douche chair.
And I don't think anybody listening or watching needs to be reminded of the many connections that Dershowitz had to Epstein. We'll talk about, but we're going to check out in particular a 1997 op-ed, which is it's not aged well. It's aged about as badly as anything can age that you could have written. And it's also legally incorrect. So that's fun too.
Have we mentioned to you, Matt, that when we went on God Awful Movies, we did No Safe Spaces, and Dershowitz was in that briefly, and he managed to say in 3 seconds two of the funniest things that don't age well at all. He said, did we tell you this already? I forget.
No.
I don't think so,
He said one thing he just, again, offhanded remark, if you want pleasure, go get a massage, is one of the things.
Yeah.
In response to like these kids these days are too
needing
coddled
safe
at college.
spaces,
You know,
from an old Russian lady, of course.
Yeah.
No one else.
Keep take your underpants off.
Good.
And then the other thing was, and this was in 2018 or something?
2018 was when it was filmed.
Yeah, and he was about the
Charlottesville rally.
Charlottesville marchers. He's like, I'm not worried about some people with tiki torches, a handful of Nazis. Well, I'm not worried about them. They're irrelevant. It's like, dude, oh boy. He's a constant source of horribly aged takes.
Yeah.
True prophet, Alan Dershowitz. All right. Fantastic. Yeah, of course, then we've got a number of other guys to take a look at. Of course, they're men this time.
As most people.
Yeah.
We did have that one woman who got, by the way, because I think we'll go ahead and claim credit because of the work done by Lydia, was fired or had to leave at least?
She stepped down. Kathy Rumler. We don't know, the conversations that happened in the background, but she's gone now from Goldman Sachs.
Yeah. There is justice in the world. She probably is stepping down to a $20 million payout for what,
Mm-hmm.
But, at least she had to step down. That's something.
Yeah.
Man, what a weird world. Okay, well, I'm excited to get to it. We'll take our first break, and we, of course, have to thank our Hall of Famers, our patrons at patreon.com/law. They make the show happen. They get the Lot Awful Movies, which I keep...
Oh, yeah.
I know I've previewed a lot, but it is so funny. I can't wait till the next one, but this one with... what's her name's law show?
Kim Kardashian.
Kim Kardashian, yeah. I'm told people know who she is. Kim Kardashian's law show.
I know, it's a name that doesn't really stick with you.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But that show does. I will remember that show forever. the 2/3 episodes that I watched of that show.
I saw a patron say that they got sucked in and they just ended up watching almost the entire season. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm going to do that too.
It's so bad that it does, and rarely does anything do this for me. It does almost get good. It's so bad. Like it's amazing.
And it's going to be back for a second season.
Second season. Exactly.
Matt's got like lawyer stuff to do. Matt's got like immigrants in detention to help. And we're like, no, dude, take a load off. Watch this horrible Kim Kardashian.
Kick your feet up.
Yeah, you don't have anything to do.
I mean, we might have to watch episode 1 of season 2 just to see.
To see where it goes.
Well, I can't watch that if I'm not going to watch the whole first season.
Exactly.
No, but it was so much fun. A lot of awful movies. That's where we make fun of law shows and TV and stuff. Law shows and movies. And sometimes we make a better one. You know, we craft a better one out of actual law just for fun, hypothetically. And that's on patreon.com/law at that $2 level and above. We've got to thank our Hall of Famers, though. This is the $5 level and above for at least a month. These folks make the show happen. The show would not exist without these amazing folks. And they get a shout out every single week, as long as we're doing Vavid Response video, which we do most weeks.
Most weeks, yeah. Exactly.
So thank you, too. My House is a Mess, but I read a lot of books. Yeah. Dominic Gillespie. Matthew Cutler, autistic Twitch streamer. Veterinary for America 2028, one man, one vote. Oh. Right. Alec, unremarkable. Your mom fell in a hole. Still funny.
Amina, we have something good coming up regarding the hole.
Yes. Regarding the hole. We've got an update on our hole. Donna Treadaway, mother of Harridans. Protect trans kids and document everything with ICE. We'll want exhibits for the regular trials, but I'd still prefer show trials. Oh, this was the show trial. Yeah, nice. I love it. Love the update. Well done, patron. Mike Lipinski, no devil lived on. Wow, that's a as much of a palindrome as it is not true. Cyanitis, normalized bidirectional spooning, gray preponderance of the evidence.
All right.
That's a new one.
That's good.
That's really stupid. I love it. Gray preponderance of the That's awesome. Apprentice of Adventure, Charlie Kelly, attorney at Bird Law, probably a real person, and Nick Fish. Love Nick Fish. And that's just the first third. So we get to have much more fun later on. All right, we'll take that first break, and then we'll get to the esteemed Alan Dershowitz Award for amuse douche. All right, we're back, and here's yet another slideshow. More Epstein stuff, I guess.
Poor Olivia.
What do you call those things? Emoticon-y type thing?
Yeah, that's an emoticon.
But the old kind, the
classic
tech.
No,
I still do those all the time.
Those are emoticons.
Boy, yeah. Oh, okay.
Emoji is the
I had a friend who did them, and I didn't like at all register them. Like I remember one day, I didn't care. I was like, oh, whatever. And I remember one day, like years into our friendship, he was like, do you even like pay attention? I don't know why. Like he just asked me. I was like, no, literally my ADHD brain is like, that's part of punctuation. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But now that I think about it, back then, you know, we used to have to walk uphill both ways and hand type out the faces. I say I didn't, but like other people did type out like that's
kids will never know.
It's
helps
a better
to
time,
communicate tone. I think they serve a purpose.
No, it does. I actually agree, but the fact that people had to type out and they got really complex too.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
Started
but colon / that's a classic for just a little kind of not sure about this kind of face.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that means? All right, I'm gonna need you to translate these.
Matt is translating for you. Oh
that's
my
a good
gosh.
There's like the winky face one. That's because the
semicolon.
Yeah, the
and the parentheses.
That does it. Okay, what are we here to discuss? This is our slideshow today. And then slide 2. I don't want to do this anymore, but here we are. Oh, I think someone's quitting live on air.
Thanks as always to Olivia for throwing these together.
This is Olivia's resignation letter.
Yeah. That's really what the slides are. Yeah.
She's been in the sex trafficking mines, unfortunately, going through these horrible emails and other things for me. For all of us.
All right, it was funny, and then you turned it dark, Matt.
Always appreciated. But let's check out this little excerpt here. We didn't talk about this email. I just wanted to mention it before we get started. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
This is Epstein writing to Larry Summers.
Oh, God.
Larry Summers
Trump.
making a cameo here.
Yeah. Trump, borderline insane. Dersh, a few feet further from the border, but not by much.
Oh, my God.
Ouch.
Can you imagine famous? I mean, this happens every time, but it's funny to think about every time.
Yeah.
World's most famous villain, pedophile, piece of shit that everybody actively hates talking shit on you and being like,
and also he's not wrong.
This guy, that's the thing. He's not wrong. I'm sure Dershowitz can be like, oh, he could shake it off like that guy.
Well, he's a criminal,
You can't trust his opinion. I don't know, man. When it comes to like knowing things about you, I think I can trust his opinion.
Yeah.
And this is 2018, about 7 months before he's arrested. So yeah, we're good.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's further from the border.
Let's check out a few feet from the border what that looks like in this 2015 interview with Dershowitz is revealed to have been on the flight logs. And I just wanted to remind everybody and of course, remember, just to remind anybody just catching up, Alan Dershowitz represented Jeffrey Epstein for many years, but he was also, and admitted this in print, a close friend and spent a lot of time with him, but also denied a lot of things. And so we'll talk about what he denies and everything else when we get to the rest, but let's just watch this video and you can assess his demeanor and his mood as he's being asked these questions. Right. It's really something.
Our amuse douche. Here we go. Let's see.
Gawker has analyzed the flight logs of Jeffrey Epstein. They say that whereas you've suggested you always travel in the company of your wife.
I never said that. I said I generally travel. My wife loves to come with me. I love to travel with her. We're leaving tomorrow night for a trip to a
right back
destination. She's with me. When I speak, I like her to come with me. She doesn't come with me on
every
trip.
Let me
she was with me on 2 trips.
Let me at least finish the question, because as
they point out,
according to the manifests, your name appears, but never does her name appear on the same flights where Alan Dershowitz was flying. You get the likes of Hazel, Claire, and Tatiana. Do you know any of those 3 women?
Yes, I know Tatiana. She was about 25 years old. She was Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend. She was a serious person. The other 2 names are unfamiliar. They're probably the stewardesses. I was never on an airplane with anybody who looked underage or even close to it. If I had ever been in the presence of Jeffrey Epstein with anybody who looked underage, I would have left immediately and never walked back in that house. I don't do things like that. I brought my family to their house. I brought my family to the island. I brought my grandchildren to his house
be in the flight log.
after these alleged acts occurred. Can you imagine me bringing my grandchildren to the scene of the crime where there would be witnesses who might say, oh, that's the man? It's ridiculous. Did you
ever fly on Jeffrey Epstein's plane with former President Clinton?
No, I didn't. But I flew with somebody, my nephew, going to see an astronaut launching. I flew with my wife twice, my daughter twice. I can prove it, notwithstanding any manifests. I flew with the legal team. I flew to a dinner with Shimon Peres and Senator Glenn. But I never, ever flew with any young women, and I certainly didn't have sex on an airplane. I am not a member of the Mile High Club. That's just not me.
Oh, my God.
Very normal interview. Just doing fine. Just totally normal responses to normal questions.
Wow.
Yeah, I just thought that was a particularly fun one, the fanaticism there.
Look, his 25-year-old girlfriend was a serious person. The other 2 women who have names that very much sound kind of like stripper, sex worker, adjacent names.
Hazel,
don't know them. They're probably also very serious people.
Well, I don't take 16-year-olds seriously. So
wow.
Right.
Jeez.
So I'm legally obligated to remind everybody that Virginia Jeffrey, and I'm actually reading her book right now. I finally have gotten to it. It's quite a read. It's really intense. I'd certainly recommend it, but it's a tough read. But Virginia Jeffrey did specifically say that she had been trafficked to to Alan Dershowitz about 6 times from 2000 to 2002. Now, she took that back after prolonged litigation in which Dershowitz sued not only her, but sued David Boies, the lawyer who hated. And she was forced after some time to issue a statement in which she said she could have been mistaken and misidentified him as someone else, which seems unlikely.
I don't trust that whatsoever. We've seen the inside dirty work that he does of just constant haranguing.
Yeah. And when you read about what he did, what the team did, what he did to have people followed around and called.
Tell you this, if it even worked on a bunch of federal prosecutors who should have had all the power in that situation, who should have no fear of whatever, tell me it's not going to work on somebody who's facing down the threat of that much money, just how much it costs. I can tell you from personal experience how much it costs and how scary it is to be on the other end of the legal system and on any end of it, I guess, really. And that wouldn't be able to wear someone down who's already kind of vulnerable. I mean, there's no way. I just don't put any faith in that.
It's a way to prolong her abuse by these men, right? Like it's just very, very clear. And I don't blame anyone who just kind of reaches a point where they can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And the fact that the statement was that I may have misidentified, I mean, imagine misidentifying Alan Dershowitz, especially if you have allegedly had an intimate contact with him. And I actually went back and watched the Netflix documentary, rewatched a little bit, and he actually, in his interview on that, he says very carefully,
Rich?
Filthy Rich.
Yeah, I never watched
while we
should watch that.
We realized we were in the Virgin Islands. We just watched the episode about the island since we were a few miles away. Yeah. And he says, in a very artfully crafted statement, he says, "I never had sex with anyone related to Jeffrey Epstein." It's like, it's a very lawyerly way to say related.
Yeah.
That was not the allegation.
Vis-a-vis Jeffrey Epstein.
His cousin.
Blood relations, yeah.
Right, yeah, come on.
Weird.
Yeah, but... Yeah, I mean, he actually...
the freeze frame is perfect, too. We should actually...
Yes, it's like wide-eyed.
That's the thumbnail.
He is resting. I definitely had sex with someone related to Epstein.
But I mean, I'm not going to paraphrase too much more, but people should go back and watch that episode, The Island, because it also has a great summary of the plea deal, but and of the Filthy Rich documentary. But there's a great juxtaposition of Dershowitz talking and then Virginia Jeffrey talking about him. Where he's daring her to say the thing, and then she says the thing. But again, I have to say, officially,
we have to watch that.
Yeah.
Officially, she has signed the statement, and she's now passed, unfortunately. But she, said that she had misidentified him. That is the official legal outcome of those proceedings. So we cannot say that this actually happened. We can just show you a video of Alan Dershowitz very normally denying it.
Could have been some other pierogi-loving fucking Dershowitz-ass guy. Like, who else is that going to be?
Dershowitz.
Yeah. He spent a lot of time with Jeffrey Epstein. So that's, at the very least, we know that's true, and he's acknowledged it. So a lot of time around his house, a lot of time around his properties, knew what he was up to. And, of course, defended him, and, of course, got him a deal which included all future possible co-conspirators, which may or may not include Alan Dershowitz. Again, allegedly, may or may not include. So let's take a look at the next one here. I got just a reminder. He was in the flight logs 11 times. That's what he was being asked about. So just a quick excerpt there. Quick few little pointers there.
Visual reminder.
Yeah.
Oh, that's impossible to read. Okay.
Yeah, but basically you can take it on faith that these arrows there are at least some examples of him on the flight logs. Pretty regular.
96.
Frequent flyer. Yeah, he's known him a long time.
Oh, yeah.
He did know him a long time.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah. That was our amuse douche, though. That was Alan Dershowitz, again, just being normal about his Epstein connections and Epstein flights. And the flight logs are really something to look at.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd never looked at flight logs before this. Never had to think about it. So let's go on to the piece I really wanted to feature, which is Alan Dershowitz in 1997. That's on the next slide.
Okay. Ooh.
And
all right.
Yeah, the title really speaks for itself.
Okay, yeah. Do we even need? Yeah, how much more need be said?
This is 1997 editorial in the LA Times, and I think it's worth reading its entirety because, again, I am not a Harvard law professor. It's not what I'm here for, but I think I've got a better handle on this subject because I don't have any interest in changing statutory rape laws.
Justice.
Yeah.
Why does it say, is that the topic? Like,
it's just like this. Yeah.
Justice.
Like
if a 16-year-old can choose abortion, she should be able to choose to have sex. Oh, yeah, sure. That makes sense.
She's maybe choosing to have an abortion because she did not choose to have sex. That seems very possible. Maybe we should reserve that right. Let's take a look at Alan Dershowitz.
All right. Although the most recent survey shows a slight decrease in teenage sex in the United States, it confirms the reality that the crime of statutory rape is rampant. According to the National Survey of Family Growth, nearly 1/4 of the women surveyed said they had sex before their 15th birthday. An additional 16.5% said they were between 15 and 16, and another 16.7% said they were between 16 and 17.
Wait, does that necessarily make it statutory if they're having sex with other people that age? Is that still...
Very good question, Thomas, because he's really going to dodge that. There's a big difference, and we'll talk about this when we get to the legal stuff here, but obviously most states, including Massachusetts, make a distinction between people of similar ages engaging in activity. And
especially because who would be the statutory rapist in a consensual 15-year-old, 16-year-old?
It is possible in some states, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's possible. I'm just saying, like, if we're talking about all the cases of that,
yes,
and he's trying to make the case that this proves there's a whole bunch of statutory rape. I don't doubt that there is a lot of statutory rape, but you couldn't take this number and assume it's all that. Like it, I don't have a lot of faith in humanity, but given that, I was in high school once, I would assume the ratio of just high schoolers having sex with each other to people being statutorily raped, I would hope that ratio is more the first thing. I would think it's like pretty wildly more the first thing, just based on numbers and how people and how high school kids are. But geez.
I think he's coming out the gate trying to say that because 16% of women are sexually active before 15 or 17 or whatever, that maybe that's okay to change the law. I think that's what he's going for.
That he and Jeffrey can go ahead and, have their turn.
Oh,
allegedly.
Boy. It's Matt's job, allegedly. Every state makes it a serious crime for anyone to have sex with another person below a given age. The age of consent varies from state to state. In some, it is as high as 18.
How and why do I know this? No reason to. Don't ask.
I've done a lot of research about this.
I didn't realize he was the original knowing the statutory age or whatever, the age of consent in every state guy. This is originally, wow.
Yeah, he has a little
there's a reason
sheet.
the amuse douche is named in his honor.
Mm-hmm. In some, it is as high as 18, while in others, it is as low as 14. Some jurisdictions mitigate the crime if the perpetrator is close in age.
Is just is that it? That's an off-putting way. It's as high as 18.
Can you believe it?
Way up.
We have to
18.
wait so long.
Jesus Christ,
God.
dude.
But this last point, the thing you just said, is very important. He's tossing this off. Some jurisdictions mitigate the crime if the perpetrator is close in age, while others do not. Now, this is the solution to the entire problem that he's setting up here, right? Mm-hmm. The solution is to make sure that every state has an exception for people who are close in age, or at least mitigates it. But he's not saying that here. He's not saying that's what we should do.
This is all theoretical, of course, since very few statutory rape charges actually are brought.
No, it's a
the
bullshit.
laws.
Then why are you? Why are you writing?
Why are you writing about this at all? The laws, however, remain on the books, poised to be used selectively in certain kinds of high visibility cases. Yeah. Recently, for example, an 18-year-old Wisconsin high school senior was prosecuted after he got his 15-year-old girlfriend pregnant and then offered to marry her. He faces 40 years in prison and a lifetime requirement that he register as a sex offender.
So I looked this up just to check. I couldn't find this particular case, but that is not Wisconsin law. He potentially, and again, this isn't great either, but from what I can see, Wisconsin law on statutory rape hasn't changed since about 1994. He wrote this in 97. I found a law review article about Wisconsin statutory rape just to be sure, and it is actually urging reform, and there should be reform on from what I've seen here, because I think every state should reform it to do the thing we're talking about, where you reflect the difference if it's a high schooler versus a Jeffrey Epstein. And so the case, though, he's talking about, that would actually have been 25 years, not 40 years. And I mean, again, that's too much. But from what I can tell, but if it's over 13, but under, I think it was 16 or 17. I did find the actual statute, but just FYI, he seems to have had that wrong.
You're playing fast and loose. Why would he have to know the law, Matt? Like, what, in what world does he have to write?
I mean, the alternative is that there are actually other charges, and maybe there was actually an assault or something else that was involved, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
No, I couldn't find the story, so I don't know what he's talking about. He didn't name it.
Maybe he could have given us, more information.
Well, I mean, the names weren't out there.
But it's just a sign that these people have always been full of shit, and I think it took a long time, especially with Dershowitz. I think he was well respected until, I mean, I could be wrong, Matt. Correct me. You're the lawyer, but I feel like he was pretty well respected up until Trump won, when he just started really being famous for like defending these stupid things. And isn't it so weird that why was he doing it? Why was he defending Trump? Could it have been that he knew he was on a list this whole time and knew he was a piece of shit, and everyone who is a problematic abuser of people and women tends to just like gravitate toward the party that's cool with that, like just seems to be.
Well, they all have to protect each other, right? Because if he doesn't protect Trump, Trump could burn him,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's a lot at stake there. The high visibility case that has most recently put the statutory rape laws in the headlines is the allegation that Michael Kennedy, son of Robert and nephew of John, had an affair with his children's babysitter, who is now a 19-year-old college student.
Let me stop you there. Who is now? Interesting little dodge there, because she was 14 at the time.
Oh
my God.
Yep. Allegedly. So, I mean, she was 14, but allegedly this is what happened.
Christ,
and this case dragged on for quite a while, and this is another one where, and this arguably, I think, based on my research here, it seems possible that he wrote this op-ed for the purpose of defending Michael Kennedy. He was on a tour at the time. He was doing a lot of media about Michael Kennedy.
Matt, I could have told you that this was my first time reading this. That's obviously what he's doing.
He's always going to do stuff that's protecting people with power.
Well, and I'm so used to this bullshit. Maybe it's just because we've been doing this a long time, but this fucking way of arguing that, like the way they couch it to try to seem reasonable, and like, oh, like this case, for example. Oh yeah. You mean the thing that you want to talk about?
The thing that brought you here. Yeah.
What are we doing here? Like, why would this exist?
who is now a 19-year-old college student, just took me out. I mean, that's it's factually correct in 1997, but that's not the question.
It's like writing out of all of Epstein's victims who are now.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no hard evidence that there was a sexual encounter between Kennedy and the babysitter before her 16th birthday.
Okay. What would the hard evidence... okay, whatever.
In the absence of such evidence, there is no criminal case of statutory rape, and it seems unlikely that any such evidence will emerge, especially since neither the young woman nor her family seems eager to press charges.
Okay.
By its nature, sex tends to be a private matter, engaged in outside of the view of witnesses. In the absence of physical evidence, such as pregnancy or sexually transmitted disease, a charge of statutory rape generally requires testimony by the victim. But since the sex was consensual, why is he saying, assuming that? It is rare that the victim will come forward if the sex was not consensual, as it often is not between older men and young girls. It is ordinary rape rather than statutory rape.
Oh, hold on.
Wait, what?
Is this just a legally thing? Is statutory rape definitionally supposedly consensual? Yeah, because if it was not, it would just be regular. You'd just be like, you rape. So this is a separate category that's allegedly, consenting between those two people, but the age is the thing that makes it.
Legally, 14-year-olds cannot consent. They just can't. So
but I'm just looking in the way the law treats it. The statutory would be a separate category.
That's what I'm saying.
Versus, okay.
That's not the analysis.
Gotcha.
So, and of course, Alan Dershowitz is kind of iffy on what he's calling here ordinary rape, as well as statutory rape. Let's keep going.
Thus, 99% of cases of statutory rape are not prosecuted. This raises a fundamental question about the continuing legitimacy of statutory rape laws at a time when sex involving teenagers is so rampant and prosecution for statutory rape so selective.
Does it? I don't know. What?
It's
anyone at this fucking newspaper go why are you took a lot of time to write this. Why? What? Okay. We got a lot of, it's 1996, he said. There's 7. A lot of stuff going on in the world. Okay. All right.
Yeah. It is obvious that there must be criminal sanctions against sex with very young children, but it is doubtful whether such sanctions should apply to teenagers above the age of puberty, since voluntary sex is so common in their age group. Any cutoff age will, of course, be somewhat arbitrary, and yet a line must be drawn, nor would it be practical to have a cutoff based on individual maturity rather than age, since maturity is so subjective a criterion. Moreover, puberty is apparently arriving earlier, particularly among some ethnic groups.
Oh my God, okay.
What?
Apparently.
Jesus Christ.
Interesting.
Has he been studying this himself? I don't want to know.
Based on the demographic criteria, the age of consent should be lowered. It certainly should not be as high as 17 or 16. Sorry.
As high as? What?
It should be lower than 16?
It shouldn't be as high as 17 or 16. There's not that many numbers, below, you know what I mean? You don't just be shouldn't be as high as 17 or 16 or 15 or 13. There's not that many fucking numbers, dude. You can't, if we were talking about 1 to 10,000, be you shouldn't be as high as 9,997 or dude.
But as high as, I mean, that's
17
as you pointed out before, that's so creepy. The next sentence is way creepier.
Yeah, reasonable people can disagree over whether it should be as low as 14.
Hey, we got some reasonable people here. Do we disagree?
Can they? Can they?
That is so crazy.
They could disagree.
Would they be reasonable if they were disagreeing? I guess.
No, I don't.
One of them could be. I guess one of them can be reasonable, and the other one's reasonable. People who are reasonable can disagree with me whether it should be 14. Basically,
it's so freaking disturbing.
Reasonable people in 1626, maybe, but
Jesus,
2026.
I can't get out of my head right now like that. I was just thinking back to when I was 14.
Well, for sure. And it already was bad, when we thought this was just a statutory rape thing that was whatever. It was already bad. And then you get to this sentence and you're like, sorry, the age of consent should be lowered. It shouldn't be as high as 17 or 16. Wow, dude. Okay, maybe that should be the title of your thing. I think the title should be, Alan Dershowitz, I think I should be able to have sex with people who are 14. That should be the title of it.
Yeah.
And then
he's going to compromise. He's about to compromise.
Okay, all right, here we go. 15 would seem like an appropriate compromise.
Why are we compromising?
Yeah, you got to haggle a little bit.
What's this negotiation?
Well, I say 20. You say 12. Compromise.
Let's meet somewhere in the middle there.
Jesus, dude.
Perhaps
how is this just put out as okay?
Yeah.
Perhaps there should be staircasing below 15 with the penalty increasing inversely with the age of the victim.
Okay.
There may even be constitutional limitations on making the age of consent too high. The Supreme Court has suggested in the abortion context that young women do have reproductive rights at a certain unspecified age.
Yeah, good news, Alan. They no longer have reproductive rights. So.
Yeah,
there you go. There are obvious differences between the right to choose whether to terminate an unwanted pregnancy and the right to have sex at all.
Oh, okay. Glad you got there. That then don't make that point.
The former requires a tragic choice between two difficult outcomes for a teenager, whereas the latter includes the preferred option, at least for young teenagers, of abstinence. But the Supreme Court's recognition of a young woman's rights to choose abortion without interference from her parents or the state suggests a degree of autonomy that seems inconsistent with making it a felony to have sex with a mature, consenting 16-year-old. Alan?
I don't know why, but my mind read this, like the thing at the bottom as like an insult. Alan M. Dershowitz teaches at Harvard Law School and writes a syndicated column. Yeah. That's the tone I read it with.
You might not want to apply
Everybody, what are we doing here?
He gets paid in multiple ways to talk about the law, including the column you just read. He got paid to do that, apparently, this little hobby project.
I think the truth is no one reads and no one ever has. I think that's the problem with our society. No one does the reading except for Matt and Lydia.
We try.
If it's an audiobook, then I do too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea that because
amazing.
You can have an abortion. I mean, obviously the reason that we have reproductive rights preserved, or we're supposed to at this age, is so they can choose to terminate a pregnancy they didn't, for sex they didn't consent to. I mean, he's not giving that any consideration at all. I don't think that's even
mentioned. And I mean, honestly, like kids make stupid choices. And so even if they consented to sex and it resulted in pregnancy, like kids are not good at engaging in behavior and understanding long-term consequences of things and making decisions based off of those long-term consequences. This is a way to continue. Yeah, exactly. That's a way to continue to help protect them and their future, and so they can try to make choices that are best for them and their growing families or non-growing families if that's what they choose. But like just thinking back about like being 14 years old, I mean, like you guys know, you were once 14 too, but being a 14-year-old girl and just the amalgamation of things like peer pressure, people like sexually harassing you on the street and then thinking it was cool to be like sexually harassed, because like, oh, there's this older man who seems interested in you, like I must look really good. It gets so incredibly confusing what you actually want to do and what you think you have to do in those situations, that I can't even move beyond that, like to even discuss the law here. I think that is just so disgusting.
Yeah, that's really important perspective because I'm thinking about the law enforcement. Oh, good.
All I could think about is the play on the
John Proctor.
Yeah, John Proctor.
John Proctor's the villain. Great play.
God. If you get a chance, well, it's not up anymore, but they're going to make a movie out of it.
Yeah,
everybody should see it.
Awesome.
There's a really good scene, incredible scene. I'll try to say it without like tearing up, but. It's about high school girls who are studying the Crucible and realizing that John Proctor is actually the villain, and
this is during like Me Too and stuff, but in like a small town in Georgia.
And they talk about their teacher who, I don't want to spoil stuff, but I mean it's probably pretty predictable, sort of, but. Basically, one of them, they're joking about being attracted to their teacher, their male teacher. High school girls joking like, "Ooh, he's good looking." Oh, I bet. And they're joking about like even like his penis and stuff. They're making jokes, and then one of them they find out or it's revealed that she's texting with him, and they're like, "I don't think that's okay." And she's like, "You guys were just joking about his dick, And it's this perfect scene of like, yeah, that's normal high school kid behavior. To be making jokes, ooh, the teacher, whatever. Like you might have a little crush.
He's the hot teacher, yeah.
But the behavior that's like, no, the teacher's actually texting you. Like after that behavior and it's such a brilliant scene because it like that girl's like, what? That's normal, and the thing you're doing is weird because you're like talking about sex with him and stuff. And it's so brilliant because they're exactly right. Like no, like that's the abnormal thing here, and it's just it's so good, and it's just exactly all I could think about during this. It's like. There's a difference between what kids might think is a good idea and what's a good idea. And this is just insane.
This is not a good idea.
Yeah, the analogy, well, first off, no one should have sex with Alan Dershowitz, period. That should be the law. But I was trying to think of an analogy. I don't know if this is a good one, but it's like, okay, if kids have the right to Narcan, then they should have the right to do heroin or whatever, do the drug that, it's like, it's not, I don't know if it's a perfect analogy, but it's like, it's not really connected. It's not connected to have the right to like control your body and get an abortion is not connected to somebody else having the right to have sex with you,
Well, like this is the whole idea of harm reduction, right? And having things that help to reduce harm even after it might be that you've engaged in the harmful activity. And abortion is one of those things.
Yeah. Well, shoot, I think we need to take a break probably before.
Sure.
It's all right. We kept our Alan stuff together, so now we can take a break after Alan.
I just wanted to wrap up very quickly and just say that the entire problem, because there is a problem here. He's not wrong that fundamentally that we need to reform in some states. I did actually I have some Google history, which I didn't have now about researching all of this, but in some states, we really should make that distinction that he talks about in the second paragraph. If the entire article had been we should reform it. As a law professor, I think it'd be better to have a reform in which we distinguish between people of the same age and people of very different ages. We wouldn't be reading this, but here we are. This is very creepy.
I would say, Matt, you're now on a list for having searched the age of consent in different states, but that list is actually prospectively the government wants to hire you now. They're like, oh, there's somebody, hey, you want a job in DOJ?
One of us. Yeah. One of us.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Professor of ethics, folks, by the way. That is Alan Dershowitz. Yeah.
I just love the idea that last sentence is like, can you guys, the newspaper put that in, like, can you fucking believe this guy teaches at Harvard? Well, we'll take a break here, and we're going to thank our second round of patrons. And I hope it was as delightful as I hope it will be as delightful as the first one was. Thank you to Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer, fantastic SNL classic sketch.
Yep.
A Negative Phenomenon. Your mother's a hamster and your father smells of elderberries. Classic, what's the
Monty
phrase?
Python.
Monty Python. You got to fight for your right to ex parte. Jay Sink, David Souther, vehicular man's laughter reluctantly changing his blinker fluid. All time should be in UTC. That's an interesting thought. I've thought about that before as a kid. I was like, why don't they just keep one time zone? But then like for you, nighttime is like,
UTC minus whatever.
Or 10 a.m. or whatever. Like it's, it's just like, you get used to when nighttime is, but it wouldn't work. It would not at all work. The blind squirrel has been crushed by Dees Jones. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter something I can't read. It's a great prank. Cavalry or Cavalry, I don't know which. Thomas Freeman, Cajun Killa, Fraudfish, he hates everything. Chris Simpson, Gavelhead chucking away. Anonymous Aquila, Mark Schultz, and Abal O'Shice.
Oh.
Abal O'Shice.
Abal O'Shice.
Always good. Thanks so much, patrons, Hall of Famers. And we'll take a break and get to... Did we miss a break? Are we getting the last third? Or where are we? I don't know. We'll get to the rest of the show. All right. Back to our slideshow as our guide. What's next?
All right. Well, there, as you know, as we mentioned, a lot of academics exposed in the Epstein's files. This is David Gelernter from Yale. I was just...
Whoever clicked that, I can see you. And not...
Oh, wow. I'm interfering. So yeah, Yale computer science professor David Gelernter has, well, I'm not going to spoil it yet, but the best response, I think, to having been outed.
Let me give like a quick little thing, because yes, he's in the Epstein files, but I think it's really interesting to talk about how he ended up there. It's actually through John Brockman, who is a literary agent and scientific author. He ended up being a connector to Epstein for a lot of scientists. A lot was through John Brockman. And in the files, you have the email where he's basically pitching to Epstein, you should talk to this guy. And he says, he's absolutely brilliant, and indeed I just invited him to be the American on a panel with me at DLD in Munich with the two leading German cultural journalists. While he's still a very good friend, I had to stop representing him because he's become seriously religious, culturally very far right. He still had serious medical issues and needs to travel with someone worth talking to? Absolutely. To know what's up with him, you need to know about the bombing. And the bombing, of course, that I teased at the beginning. He was a victim of the Unabomber. And it was June 24th, 1993. Apparently, he had just completed a vacation, opened up a package. It had a Sacramento, California return address, not from Thomas and myself. It was from Ted Kaczynski.
I was 7.
Yeah, I was 5. And he said, it was a package like millions of packages I've opened in the past. But of course, in it was a bomb, and it detonated in his hands.
I don't really need that quote. It was I've opened millions of these things.
Yeah.
I've opened so many. Yeah, man.
So many packages.
It was a letter. That's bad. Like
So
nobody's like, why did you open a package, you idiot?
He obviously got injured very, very badly. His office caught on fire. He was able to escape the flames in his office, walked down 5 flights of stairs, and then walked across the parking lot, walked up a hill to get to the clinic at Yale. And when he was inside the clinic, he collapsed immediately.
Yeah, I actually just noticed his hand. Is that I don't know if it's a prosthetic or something, but
And then he was told that had he dialed 911 in his office and waited for help there, he would have died. Like him making the trek across campus saved his life.
Jeez.
Lots of operations, almost lost all the vision in his right eye. His right ear required surgical repair. His lungs were damaged, just like really, really awful. But I thought it was interesting that that we have John Brockman being like, okay, but before you meet this guy, in order to understand him, you need to know this was something that he encountered, because it shapes who you are as a person. Absolutely.
I'm getting confused as the who's who. So John
Brockman is throughout the Epstein files because he is known Epstein for a long, long time. Whose voice were you saying?
Who was writing that?
And
that was John Brockman saying Epstein meet this guy?
Yes, that was an email, and then I read an excerpt from a news article regarding the bombing.
So this guy who was bombed is allegedly in at this time turning right wing and a Christian or something. Okay.
Yes. And then David agreed to meet him. He said, John, I've heard of Jeffrey Epstein only as a sort of brooding, mystical presence. I wouldn't have sworn he actually existed, but I'm more than happy to talk to him. Let's see, Saturday during the day is no good, but be around this Saturday PM and all day Sunday, or would be happy to call him if that's more convenient. And then John Brockman forwarded that over to Epstein and said, J.E., over to you. And thus began a 6-year-long email
Beautiful
relationship. They communicated a lot via email. There were a lot of conversations in person as well. His son went to Jeffrey Epstein to pitch, for investment for his computer company. A lot of stuff going on between these guys. So,
and we'll get to the creepiest of the emails, but with the next slide, we can see a very quick clip of him and his enthusiastic support for Donald Trump.
Personal story segment tonight. Column in the Wall Street Journal recently caught my eye. It was written by a Yale professor, David Gelernter, who says he's voting for Trump, even though he's not very happy about it. Professor joins us now here in New York City, down from New Haven. So, I mean, if you came out of the closet, and so I can't imagine at Yale, what do they say to you? You're voting for Trump. What do they say?
Well, they're used to it. I've been out of this closet. I've been a Republican for a long time.
But it's different.
But it's true. It's true.
That kind of blows the entire segment.
A Republican voted for Trump.
0.5% of Republicans at Yale are scared to death of Trump. So, yeah, it's a different thing.
So you say it's about 99% liberal Democrat at Yale?
I would say 99.5%.
Wow.
Not just liberal leftists.
Wouldn't they do better up there if they had a few, they always speak about diversity. Wouldn't it be a little diversity to get somebody in there? Now, why, you're not a big Trump fan, but you're casting your ballot for him. Why?
I have no choice. It's my duty as a citizen to look at the big picture. Trump is a bum. With respect to his dealings with women, I'm not proud of what he's done. He's not proud of what he's done. But I have a responsibility to look at what kind of president Hillary Clinton would make. And a woman who has been a career liar, who spent her career selling out the United States, making a principle and a practice of doing that, I have no reason to doubt that she's going to continue on.
I just thought it was funny the way that he leads with about the way that Trump feels about women, because we're going to see about how Gelernter treats women in this email.
Here we go.
Here's a little excerpt. So this is David Gelernter writing to Epstein and offering him a woman.
Yeah. Software to be built by 2 people. One is a first-rate local freelancer. I have a perfect editoress in mind.
It's actually editrix, technically, but sorry.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yale senior, worked at Vogue last summer, runs her own campus mag, art major, completely connected, very small, good-looking blonde.
It's that part, the V small part. V small, good-looking blonde. Like, why did you say V small to Jeffrey Epstein?
Mm-hmm.
You're assuring him that she's a senior at Yale, but I promise she's small.
Yeah.
So that's creepy.
It's quite creepy.
You're pimping out one of your students to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. And so obviously when the files come out and Yale has a really dedicated journalism area of their campus, and they wrote about it, of course. And the article comes out. Now, David decides.
Next sliding yet?
Yes.
One second.
Yeah, sure.
So David sees this article come out, and then the way that he responds is an unprompted email to a bunch of administrators.
Legend.
And we get a second email, or a second article rather, from Yale Daily News talking about what that email said. Now, I haven't seen screenshots of it anywhere. The administration has declined to produce it to other news outlets, but Yale Daily News did see it directly.
Got the scoop.
And they just don't have images there. So yeah, if we go to the next slide now,
this is within the last couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yep.
So here's the headline from Yale Daily News. This is dated February 5th. And this is unbelievable. You have to see it to believe it.
Yeah, Gelernter tells Dean he stands by praising students' looks to Epstein. He defends his 2011 message to Jeffrey Epstein describing an undergraduate's appearance in a Wednesday email to Yale's engineering school dean.
Oh, do I need to open this up? Or?
Gelernter told the news
go to the next one.
He had no regrets about his contact with Epstein. No regrets.
All right. So we got the relevant excerpt here. It's a long story. It's worth reading. We'll look to it.
Computer science professor David Gelernter, 76, blah, 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 defended his 2011 description of an undergraduate's appearance as fitting for its recipient, the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, in a lengthy Wednesday afternoon email to the dean of Yale's engineering school. Asked whether he regretted any part of his association with Epstein, which included newly released emails they exchanged between 2009 to 2015, Gelernter wrote in a separate email to the news on Wednesday morning, nothing.
It's just such a coincidence that this guy decided to vote for Trump and was coming out of the closet as a Republican. It's so weird.
Yeah.
God, I wish there was some connection.
Yeah.
I think this is the first person, maybe the only person I'm aware of, who's just like flat out categorically said, I have no regrets.
I know. It's so funny too, because like, if you've heard him speak about his experience with like the Unabomber and like his idea of like morality and stuff as a result of that, and then this idea that, you know, that he despises the way that Trump has treated women, and that Trump also, you know, like isn't very fond of it either, blah, 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 blah. You would expect at the very least, the way he would come out is like, I regret ever having a relationship with Epstein, like all these non-responses that we've gotten from plenty of other people. But he's just doubled down. He's like, no. This is perfect.
It gets worse.
It gets worse. It gets worse. And I have a little surprise for you, Matt, that I don't think you've seen related to this.
I love a surprise.
Yeah.
All right. Let's check the next one.
Next slide here.
Next slide. Okay.
Another excerpt from the same story.
All right.
I was recommending her for a job I thought she'd like. When you do that, when you actually care about a rec letter.
Oh, God. Let's explain this more. I bet it'll get better as you explain it more.
You keep the potential boss's habits in mind.
Habits.
Like if you're going to recommend a student of yours, a female student of yours to a pedophile, you got to like know.
You got to pitch it.
Like, write the resume like in such a way. Jesus Christ.
This one was obsessed with girls, like every other unmarried billionaire in Manhattan. In fact, like every other heterosex male. And if I hadn't said what I did in that letter 10 odd years ago, he would certainly have called me and asked for a lot more aesthetic detail.
Yeah, his hands were tied.
This is how men behave.
This is how men behave.
Yes.
Really?
It's mansplaining men.
So long as I said nothing that dishonored her in any conceivable way, I'd have told him more or less what he wanted. She was smart, charming, and gorgeous. Ought I to have suppressed that info? Never, he continued, italicizing the last word. I'm very glad I wrote the note.
Very glad.
Yeah.
This is a Trumpy response, isn't it? Like just to lean in. But I've had, some great recommendations from other people, other lawyers, other people who've hired people and said, hey, you're going to love this person's sense of humor. They're a hard worker. Here's some other.
Hey, Matt, if you were, say you were recommending someone, maybe I'm like, hey, Matt, do you have any students I could hire to do my thing? And you're like, oh, yeah, I got one. I was like, what's their cup size? Would you be like, we're not friends anymore? Like, not only am I not recommending this student to you,
right?
I don't think I want to talk to you anymore, is what my response would probably be.
And this is like at a time when like he should have known anyway, 2011. And I mean, and the fact that he knows, he's saying your potential boss's habits. And it's not just, to me, it's the creepiest thing, as I said, is the V small, right? That you're tailoring this, not just saying, she's pretty blonde, but like she looks smaller and younger than she is. And I know you like that. And good news though for this man is that he has just been suspended from his class. He's still at Yale, but he's not teaching his computer science class as of now.
Now, so. I want to call out, though, when he's like, if I didn't tell him that, he just would have asked for a lot more aesthetic detail. That's freaking weird, first of all.
That makes it worse.
Yeah, that's very strange. And also, you can see the response from Epstein in these email threads. He doesn't even talk about this person anymore. Like
Epstein's like the perfect gentleman.
Yeah, well, he like asks that they have another thing as part of this conversation.
It's kind of weird that you told me that, actually.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're being kind of problematic if you ask me, Jeffrey Epstein.
You lost me at college senior, so, moving on.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And so, like, he didn't really engage with him. Now, who's to say if they talked on the phone or in person about her specifically or anything like that? But at least via email, like, I don't know why David went this route, but he went this route. So now you mentioned, Matt, that he was relieved of his duties. When that happened, when Yale has decided to investigate this and put him on leave, he posted to Canvas, where he's informing the students that he will no longer be serving as their professor.
I haven't seen this.
Yeah. And let me read it to you. So,
please.
This was February 10th, 10:35 a.m. I've been relieved. The subject is important, by the way. I've been relieved. For now on, I no longer teach CPSC 4500. I have no idea who my successor will be. I'm accused of describing a student in email as, quote, worked for Forbes last year, runs her own campus newspaper, knows everyone, is perfectly informed.
Those aren't the words. Facts.
Those also aren't the words.
Did you keep going?
So you're quoting something and you're just wrong.
He's also acknowledged that
he stopped there?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, he did.
But he acknowledged that he sent the email. He's not accused of sending the email. That's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's admitted
this
it.
sounds like a serious offense to the Yale administrators. That particular thing. But then again,
I'm so sorry. I know I say it all the time. The reason we started Where There's Woke is that this is every single story about the wokest. This is every single one. Every time there's those crazy college students, I'm being crucified. You know what I did? I wrote an email where I said, she's very intelligent. She's excellent at what she does.
Yep.
I'm fired. I'm fired for it.
Yeah.
Because the woke left. That's every single time. It's that. The whole ecosystem is a bunch of these stories, and there's so many of them that they coalesced into this narrative about how the woke left are so crazy, and they get all upset about it. Every one of them is this.
Yep.
And you can only fact check so many. Yep. But you see it right here. Like right here, you see the proof. This is a college professor who is willing to lie to this level. And people will believe it. And maybe not on this one because it's so bad, but everything up until then, when he's telling Bill O'Reilly, 99.5% of them, they're just so hardcore. Yeah, same thing. He's a liar.
Yeah.
Right.
God.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
Just trying to help a student out. Look at what happens.
Sorry,
it continues. Guys, buckle up. But then again, this person had become a family friends with me and my wife. Had stayed over at our place at least twice.
Hey, sorry. Again, I know I used the example before. If I were recommending a student to anyone, and this was what that person wanted, hey, what does she look like? Which, by the way, as you say, it doesn't even seem like it seemed like this professor was just offering it. But let's say it was Epstein driving that. There's no way who in the right mind wouldn't be like, hey, you don't want this job.
I'm not giving the name at that point. I'm not.
Do not. Don't take this job. This guy's a fucking creep. Like he's asking all these detailed questions about your looks. Like you do not want to.
Well,
do this.
It's the same thing. Like the Kavanaugh clerkships out of Yale, and picking women. Like this is the kind of clerk Kavanaugh likes. It's so sick. This entire ecosystem.
Yeah. Grooming. Yeah.
2. Of course, I didn't know before or during our conversations that he was a convicted felon. Few people are eager to announce such information.
I knew he was a creep, but...
Yeah, like what? The thing he's doing in your conversation, allegedly, is already enough to put you off. Like, you don't... Oh, I didn't know he also, stole a car or something. It doesn't even matter. Like, this is already... the creepy behavior you're seeing right there. You know what I mean?
We can get into more of the emails. We don't want to right now, but they talk about quote unquote girls plenty. And there's plenty of misogynist, awful stuff in these emails. Like he knows what Epstein's into, and he said he knows what Epstein's into in the quote to the other professor.
Right. 3, the university smoking gun, capitalized smoking gun, is a personal private email dug out of the dump of Epstein files. And in parentheses, if someone handed you a stack of other people's private correspondence, would you dive in and read them? Of course not. Gentlemen and ladies don't read each other's mail. Courtesy 101.
I feel so bad now for reading the Epstein files. I'm sorry.
The weirdest defense. That's a new one on me. Yeah.
So
it is
strange.
very untoward that you are reading my correspondence.
4, this person wanted to be recommended to Ep instead of Epstein for a summer job, strictly on the financial side of his private bank. She knew just who he was, though not that he was a felon and a sex criminal. She also knew he paid well and hadn't made a move on anyone.
So she knew his name.
And that he was a billionaire and he had a job. Yeah, okay.
And hadn't made a move on anyone since moving to New York. I don't know how she would have known that, but then also didn't know that he was a felon and sex criminal. Anyway, if Yale had treated her like the adult she was and not like a ward in chancellery belonging to the engineering dean, none of this would have happened.
What?
I don't know. This guy.
What does that even mean? What can that possibly mean?
If you
if she had gotten a job before, like, so he didn't have to do this? That doesn't...
Yeah.
If you hadn't written a creepy email to Jeffrey Epstein, none of this would have happened.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if she'd never been born, then you wouldn't have caught me talking creepy about, I guess. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Okay.
But after all, what did?
This guy's a colossal piece of shit. Like, what?
Yeah. You've been a marvelous class, and not only on intellectual terms, you're way out of the ordinary, and I'll always remember that. If my very last class at Yale turns out to be CPSC 450 or a piece of it, then 1,000 thanks, a million, you know what I mean. The topic is closed for comments is like this little thing. I guess he turned off comments. But
I'm sure.
Jeez, what a
Here's hoping that's his last class at Yale.
You guys, I just like...
This better be his last class everywhere.
It's so ridiculous. This is a person who actually was thought of to be sort of like a had prophesized the World Wide Web, had prophesized social media. He wrote books a long time ago, kind of like envisioning what that landscape would look like. He's like really into art. So like, you know, he has all these intellectual conversations with Jeffrey Epstein over email. And then I found this article with Tablet from 2017, again, just to kind of give a little more color to this guy. The interviewer says, we moved from Jews and Christians to sex. In the early 1980s, Gelernter called a computer language he invented Linda after Linda Lovelace, and he told one interviewer, quote, I am obsessed with sex and sexuality as much as anyone I've ever met. Anyway, there's more to that quote, but I just wanted to end on that. You know,
thank you for your candor,
that's how powerful the sex drive
David.
is.
Thank you for being so honest. I really appreciate it.
Well, and I don't want to even besmirch people who are into sex and sexuality with the idea that yeah, you can be into sex and sexuality without being the fucking creep. I think. I
hope so.
Like, this is unbelievable. Like, it really reminds me of the locker room talk thing. When Trump said locker room talk, like, it is absolutely true. Like, you know, there's a spectrum of behavior of men talking about women from fine to gross, but there is a line. Like, there will be people who talk about women certain ways. You're like, okay, I just want to get out of this fucking conversation. But there's a line where it's like, oh no, this guy's like a danger. And like, if someone is demanding to know what the college student you're recommending them looks like, it's so far over that line. It's just not even close. Like, but what's really horrifying and scary is that people like this guy, I don't know if like the fact that there's people out there, there's dudes out there that like write off their insane predatory thoughts and behaviors as like part of the like being one of the guys is like, that's something that men really need to try to fix. You know, it's really not easy. Like, it's not at all easy when you're a dude in these situations where, especially because it always feels like you're outnumbered or you always feel like if you're going to say anything, you're going to be like the damper on the conversation.
Like
you're going to be like the killjoy, you know, it's really tricky. But like, man, we got to find a way to make clear, like, no, that's at the very least, this is way over that fucking line. Like, come on.
And I think it's just gross. He's like trying to have it both ways, right? Where he's like, well, of course I didn't know that he was a convicted felon. Well, you do now, but you also say that you don't regret sending that email. You say that you don't regret explaining her looks to Jeffrey Epstein.
Right. That's a good catch. Yeah, it would be like, oh, fuck. I didn't know. I just recommended my student to a pedophile. I just had no idea.
Exactly. Yeah, had I known, I wouldn't have gone that direction at all.
You're right to call that up as very Trumpian, where it's like, just admit no mistake ever.
Yeah.
Fucking
this is one guy who actually could have used a PR consultant, unlike all that Baldoni libelous stuff you've been looking at. Just 5 minutes.
Jesus. I think you should use another package from the Unabomber person.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Great time for a break.
Yeah. As Matt convinces me to edit that out, let's go to break.
Hey, allegedly.
Yeah, the thing you didn't hear.
That fixes it right, Matt.
That was totally cool that Matt Killjoy made me cut out of the show. Let's take our break and thank our final third of patrons at patreon.com/live. These are the Hall of Famers, and we go, of course, in order of Hall of Fame accomplishment. So, Cincinnati Kid. Sorry, I should say it right. The Cincinnati Kid. Bob Loblaw's Law podcast. Philly Basement Bar will be getting a new house rep in the midterms. Nice. I think. Elect Thomas Smith, President, American Honky Tonk Bar Association. Baltic Catay. Philip Kaiser. Abraham Lincoln called the Melania documentary the worst experience he'd ever had in a theater. Corin Land, a string of unpronounceable characters. Malika Chandler, RonToTheDork.com. Milo Meadsong is fighting petty tyrants. Hors d'oeuvres in the court before we report. Big Easy Blasphemy. Chris Waltrip. Fred R. Gruthius. Oh, and Fred upped his pledge recently. I meant to respond to his message. Fred, if you're hearing this, I did one of those things where I opened it, got interrupted by the kids, and I'm just now remembering that I didn't respond. Thank you so much for upping your support. You're amazing. Yeah, love you, Fred. Sam Denow, Classic Libtard, and Mitchell, our champion. Thanks so much, Hall of Fame patrons. You're the reason that I have the legal defense fund to defend against the thing I just said earlier that we don't know
that you may or may not have heard.
Which I had nothing to do with.
All right, we'll take our break. All right, looks like this is like an award show, I guess.
Yeah.
Creepiest response. Oh, I meant to say, I had an idea earlier. It would be a fun game show to do, like, person in the Epstein files. Are they in there for creep reasons or just like random reasons?
Or
like profile a person,
article.
like here's the guy, you give him like increasing facts. You're like, he's a this, he's a Republican, he's a whatever. And then you guess, like, is he a creep or was he just mentioned in an email or like something else? That'd be a fun game show someday.
He worked for a university and was in charge of trying to fundraise for their, their specific
that's
lab.
true. You'd have to do like, okay, fundraising, maybe he was just talking about the money, like, and then you could, everyone could make their guess. That could be a bonus.
That's a good idea.
A lot of names.
There's a lot. Yeah. But my worry is that are there enough that are in there for innocent reasons? Probably.
That would be part of our work. Yeah.
Maybe we don't show pictures and then they could be like Michael Marshall, like we'll get facts that like seem innocent or seem guilty, but they're innocent. Yeah. All right. Who we got? Robert Trivers.
Yeah. Creepiest response. Here we go.
But there he is giving something that looks like a TED Talk. He must be.
He's an academic, of course. He is a professor. And let's take a look at he had a lot of communication with Epstein, but let's take a look at one example of Bob Trivers, evolutionary biologist, talking to
that's a main red flag in my game show. Evolutionary.
Yeah. There's a lot of evolutionary biologists.
Yeah, I'll admit I was thinking evolutionary psychologist. That's 100%.
Oh, okay.
But evolutionary for some reason. I don't know why. All right.
So this is July 31st, 2016.
Yeah. So just a note, at July 30th, Jeffrey Epstein had asked him where he is. So this is
my 30th birthday.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. Good times. And Robert responds, I'm in New Jersey now doing my foundation taxes and moving north to New Brunswick for a couple of days and then NYC to see my latest grandson. I will be in FLL Monday until Wednesday, back to Jamaica. Would love to spend some time with you. Alone among my friends, you have gone through as much as I or worse, but we have rarely discussed the details. Okay, so you know what he went through. Was very low for a couple of weeks in Jamaica. Suicidal, that is to say homicidal, making a rank-ordered list of whom I would kill or first. Okay. Couldn't imagine anyone on your list besides perhaps a lawyer, one on my list, but then I don't really know you. Spend some time dealing with jobs and job opportunities. CUNY, perhaps U of Kentucky at Lexington, Oklahoma in Stillwater. Kind of hard to imagine, although it is a completely open carry state, so you'd be armed against them. All best to you. What about that island of yours?
Jesus Christ. So what's the story here, Matt? Holy shit.
island of yours. Yeah. Well, so Trivers at this point, now this is 2016, so everybody knows what the deal with Jeffrey Epstein is, no doubt.
Yeah,
Trivers.
Forget that. Like he's describing like, oh yeah, I also something. Like what happened?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, part of it was that he was outed for his association. Now this is kind of a throwback. This is back to 2015. Reuters, and we're going to see that what he told Reuters, because this is another creepy response, the way that he defended Epstein to Reuters, and he went through some things, I think, after that. He also was suspended from Rutgers for refusing to teach a class called human aggression. Yeah, I don't know much about that. What I do appreciate, though, is just want to throw this out there. He once described himself as one of the greatest social theorists in evolutionary biology alive, comma, .
Oh, he described himself.
Social theorist. Okay. There we go. That's right on the fucking top of the list. Let me know when to change slides. I don't
let's go forward so we can see what he told Reuters.
The evolutionary biologist Robert Trivers is also mentioned in the new tranche of emails. In 2015, he told Reuters that Mr. Epstein had given him about $40,000 for his research, and he defended Mr. Epstein, saying girls mature sooner than they used to. Oh, like Alan Dershowitz is talking about puberty in that.
In fact, I read this column in the LA Times
back in the
20
90s,
years ago. Yeah,
got it hanging on the wall here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Framed it.
Quote, by the time they're 14 or 15, they're like grown women were 60 years ago. So I don't see these acts as so heinous.
Because, you can marry them off if they're 14 and, 60 years ago. I mean.
Jesus Christ.
That is so gross.
In the 16th century, the age of consent was 10. Nobody cares, man. Like, what are you doing?
You're just saying, of course I ordered the code red.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. This is me.
Am I being accused of a crime? This is like, this is just you saying, yes, I am also Jeffrey Epstein. Like what? This is not, you can't even separate this from what he is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's move on to another Where There's Woke favorite. Everybody loves Steven Pinker.
It says still creep. I haven't seen, though I'm awaiting, any direct evidence of creephood of Steven Pinker ever.
Oh,
I haven't seen it. I'm not denying it exists, but he sucks.
Yeah, and I will say the Epstein, he certainly had Epstein associations like a lot of academics. Yeah. I'm not going to impugn anything else about his association with Epstein, but I just want to know he certainly did have associations. He knew things. He took money, all the usual. But I just wanted to know, just sort of because this person's in his orbit, because we're kind of talking about people in the orbit, check out the next thing here.
All right.
This came out of the Epstein files recently. So this is an email, and I'll link to this for everybody. But he wrote there's a Word doc attached to one of the emails that he did an expert witness linguistic analysis of a statute.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's this long analysis about, and this is part of the defense. You might remember we were talking about how Dershowitz and everybody else in the defense team were aggressively hounding the prosecution to say that one of these statutes didn't apply. And so they got this expert
word
thing.
Bullshit. So they had Steven Pinker be the expert for that?
3-page letter. Wow. 3-page analysis. Yeah.
Wow.
You can.
I'm curious. This was was this just for the purpose of getting the plea deal? So like, did Pinker think like, oh, it's not like he's going to have to testify in court. It's like, maybe thought. Maybe. I'm just asking you, like, if this was just, hey, this is just for the purposes of getting a plea deal, this won't see the light of day kind of thing. Do you think that would have been the
That's
assumption?
very possible. Yeah.
Okay. Possible.
Because I think they knew it was coming. But yeah, they were really trying to badger the prosecution down. Lydia, if you just want to give us a taste of this brilliant analysis.
So the question is, does this statute apply, 1, to someone who uses the mail or internet or phone and subsequently persuades a minor in person to engage in sex, or does it apply only to 2, someone who persuades a minor over the phone, etc., to engage in sex? That is, if John phones a woman asking her only to have dinner and then at dinner persuades her to engage in illegal sex, does his behavior fall under the language of the statute? Linguistically, this boils down to how the appositive gerundive? Gerund? Okay. How the appositive gerundive phrase, quote, using the male, relates to the causative main verb, quote, persuades.
That's using clearly just a bunch of words to sound smart.
Yeah.
It's just like it boils down to how these two phrases relate. It doesn't.
Yes.
If you're using fancy, a positive gerundive phrase using the male relates to the causative main verb persuades.
The gerundive phrase is playing the semantic role.
Oh, I think that's cut off probably.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
read all this bullshit.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I want to do a lot awful expert testimony defending a fucking pedophile. Yeah, because that's fantastic. So that's what they're doing. So if you only persuade them, I don't know what the law wording was, but it's like, oh no, I only got them over to me on false pretenses using the internet or a phone or whatever. Then the whole convincing them to have sex or whatever was over in person.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the legal analysis of this one. But just to close the loop, but this is to Alan Dershowitz. He's writing this memo. He sent it to him, and his defense was he didn't send it to Epstein. He sent it to Dershowitz at his request because he's part of this network for some reason. So next page,
is he pretending he didn't know it was for Epstein, or is he just leaving that part out?
Yeah, I think he's just leaving that out. Yeah. But this was 2007 that he wrote this. Okay. The next one, I just want to give you a little taste of this footnote. It's a fun footnote from
of course
article that Olivia found.
Kate Mann. Wait, this is Kate Mann? I love Kate Mann.
Yeah, no, it's a great piece. The way that he's writing about women and about sexual violence is so alien to like any kind of decency.
Sorry, what is this a footnote to? Like, what book is this, or what?
This is a lengthy footnote from her book on misogyny in which she gets into these remarks.
Oh,
and I just had to feature a footnote for you. This is latter half of that. If you look at starting with the word progress, Lydia, yeah.
Progress was also made thanks to the men in power growing wise to the nuances of female sexuality, such as women's hitherto puzzling tendency, quote, to find the prospect of abrupt, unsolicited sex with a stranger to be repugnant rather than appealing. Although, quote, rape is not exactly a normal part of male sexuality, it is not too far off either.
And then the quote from Pinker, if you want to read that.
This is a quote from Pinker. If I may be permitted an ad feminem suggestion.
Get it? Ad feminem?
Oh, yeah.
The theory that rape has nothing to do with sex may be more plausible to a gender to whom a desire for impersonal sex with an unwilling stranger is too bizarre to contemplate. Common sense never gets in the way of a sacred custom that has accompanied a decline of violence, and today rape centers unanimously insist that, quote, rape or sexual assault is not an act of sex or lust. It's about aggression, power, and humiliation using sex as a weapon. And then it continues.
Yeah. And there's a reason she posted this and highlighted, I think. It's pretty gross.
Oh, she tweeted this out. Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. To show, like, just, again, in case you think that Pinker might be absolved from the stuff we're learning, like, here's who he is. Just a certain kind of person in this orbit. Again, nothing that we really know of too bad about this, but I just wanted to mention him because I know you're a fan.
Can't stand him.
Yeah. Next, I just want to mention Les Wexner very quickly. We're going to go soon here. But we haven't really talked about Les Wexner. But of course, the Victoria's Secret billionaire, the person who made Jeffrey Epstein who he became by letting him manage his money for some reason, never really explained. And I just want to note that one thing we learned in the most recent drop is that Les Wexner was named briefly by the FBI as a very likely co-conspirator of Epstein that was never really pursued. And so, and he wrote a very lengthy sort of apology in 2019 where he said he really didn't know what he was getting up to, even though he spent a lot of time with him and he managed his money. And they had a falling out. They did have a falling out. He had a falling out with a lot of people, but
I think Epstein probably stole his money. Epstein scammed like everybody.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It's crazy.
I feel like we can slander him.
Les Wexner is so closely connected to so many different allegations of abuse and sexual harassment and sexual assault. Like, I just at a certain point, it's like, I don't know, man. I just don't know that I buy any of what you're saying right now. But yeah, Les Wexner is he's also testifying to the House Wednesday, February 18th. So coming right up. We'll see if he has anything to say at all.
The House is coming to him. Did you see this? They're going to Ohio.
I didn't see that.
They're going to his house. They're sending members of the House because he's a billionaire. He doesn't have to come to Congress apparently. But I just wanted to, Lydia actually found this. I wanted to play this quick clip here of Wexner talking because this is a man who made his money selling lingerie. So I hadn't heard him talk before, but just kind of take you out on this. Here we go.
How did you know what young women wanted to buy?
He's an expert on young women.
I knew the young women I knew, and I knew what kind of clothes they bought. So I thought I would just buy clothes like I thought they would buy, and then they did. Now, as I got older, still focusing on young women, I had to pay attention to what young women were buying and make guesses about what they would do. But I think the question about purpose, get back to that, is to say, okay, you made $1 million, or you've made 10 million, or maybe you could make 100 million, and I'd say, well, why? I'm running this business. I started this business. It's tons of fun for me. I really love what I do, and I'm kind of racking up a financial score, and it's kind of, but why?
Okay, was that the clip?
That's him knowing about young women and what they want to wear. I'd never really thought about what the guy who started Victoria's Secret might be like and what kind of creep he was.
It's not even just Victoria's Secret. I mean, like as a millennial woman, like this was such a huge part of our upbringing, mall culture, right? It was Victoria's Secret, it was Pink, it was The Limited, it was Abercrombie and Fitch, it was Hollister, like all of these brands, Bath and Body Works, and it was all created like, what kind of young woman, what kind of teenager are we trying to present ourselves to be? And then you realize, oh, the people who are deciding this are these old, disgusting predators that are creating the vision of what they want these young girls to look like, to smell like, to act like. And it is dark and gross. And I know a lot of other millennial women have been posting about this. You know, America's Next Top Model documentary just came out too. Like, this is a reckoning, honestly, for people of my generation, I think. So.
I hope so.
Well, you had more, Matt, but we're actually out of time. There's always more. I think it should be a lesson, like how much they did tell on themselves. You know, some of the stuff, it's like, okay, maybe there could be an innocent explanation for some of this stuff, and you don't necessarily have to think that, you know, okay, anyone who said something like this means they're a secret Epstein predator. But like some of the stuff, you're like, maybe that should have been a sign this guy was a secret Epstein Island predator.
Yeah. I mean, just the Abercrombie and Fitch connection there too. Mike Jeffries is currently under criminal investigation, and there's a criminal lawsuit and also civil lawsuit that he is facing. He was found incompetent to stand trial on the criminal charges, but they're going to reassess that next month. And it's, you know, 180, 200 young men that are, you know, now much older.
Yeah. What is that?
Sorry, Les Wexner hired him. Like, that was the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, and he reported to Les Wexner. Like, this is, it's just,
Okay. So I was just talking about like the what's his name column, you know, from 1997.
Oh,
or whatever.
right,
it's like,
Alan.
Like the stuff they've said, you're like, yeah, man, maybe that should have been a red flag for people when they're like, as high as 17 or 16. Oh, boy. Oh, man. All right. Well, thanks so much for preparing this, especially thanks to Olivia for the slideshow, as always. A lot of fun. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Lydia. And thanks most of all to our listeners and patrons. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening and watching.
All right.
This has been Opening Arguments, produced by Thomas and Lydia Smith, with editing help from Peter Baird. The intro is by Thomas Smith. This outro is by Matt Cameron. Support the show at patreon.com/law. Contact us through Patreon or openarguments@gmail.com. Make sure to follow our Blue Sky @OpenArgs. But most of all, please share the show. Thanks for listening.